because of the support that we have, and we're looking forward to this summer.
You know, Heidi Fisher, a 4-year starter, St. John going to state, losing a competitive game against the team that eventually won the state championship. St. John had just a wonderful season.
It means everything. It's everything I've worked for since I was a little kid. It's been my dream. Baseball is all I've ever known. I've been working so hard to get here, and finally I get the opportunity to, made the roster and go out there and prove them that they made a right decision.
The group that we have this year, it's something special. I feel like we're not getting enough credit around the league right now with a couple add-ons that we've gotten with trades and pickups this offseason. We have a younger group, but we're all super excited.
I don't like the timing of it, when the portal opens. I think I'd also like the focus in college basketball to be on the teams that are playing in the tournament rather than, 100 hits a day in college basketball world about another guy transferring. So I wish we could adjust the timing of it a little bit. I think it would make for a more enjoyable tournament.
It kind of reminds me of when the NFL was looking at hits to the head neck area of the defensive players. A lot of players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, were pushing back, and the question was, well, what am I supposed to do? What we saw is the players adjusted.
Trocheck back to Fox. Fox rips a shot and scores! Adam Fox in overtime!
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome to a busy sports day and the Hump Day show here. Steve Webster with you. Aaron Clark is in. Mike Corson enjoying his noon school board luncheon today, but Mike will be back in. He'll be talking Great Bend Panthers softball coming up toward the end of the show today, so he'll be in. And the man who's got to be feeling like Columbus today. He discovered a new world. Or no, maybe he rediscovered it. The legendary Mike Hesher, the producer of the program, who today found our other camera. Not that it
never went anywhere. It just was the USB port. I changed USB port. That's the last two ones I've fixed have been changing USB ports. That's a lesson I need to remember.
Just like Columbus found a way to navigate the new world, Hesher is navigating USB ports. We're back on air.
It's amazing.
So if you're streaming, of course, we've been going with like one camera, but Hesh fixed it. Man, this is outstanding.
Now we get to see you, Webby. Which you're lucky. I was thinking about it. I talked to Aaron. We were going to throw up your picture from your high school picture if I couldn't find the camera the next day or two.
Well, I just think this was actually all part of Webby's plan. He starts dieting a little bit, starts working out. The camera cuts out. Now we come back. It's the new and improved Steve Webster.
Oh, you have something there, Aaron.
Yeah, we're working on 2 months now. People say, well, who is that guy? Well, it looks like the same old guy, but what?
Just less of him there.
There's less of him there. All right. On the show today, Great Bend Lady Panthers softball coach Carrie Minton is going to be in talking with Mike Corson, and she'll bring in 3 players, Deshauna Bryant, Cameron Kelch, and Kaya Bear. They will be playing softball tomorrow. It's going to be a lovely day. And down in Hutchinson, and Aaron Clark will have the call tomorrow out at Fun Valley.
Fun Valley should be a fun one. It'll be the Salt Hawks' first matchup of the season, so don't know too much about them, but they have a strong returning back. Only graduated 2 seniors from that class last year, so it should be a fun matchup for the Lady Panthers.
Also be checking in the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Walbrook. He's doing some baseball this afternoon for the Tigers, so we'll get him before he heads down to Larks Park for the Tiger Ball today. Or maybe he's on the road. I don't know. We'll find out. And, of course, we'll check in with Gerard. Another one of my Padawans.
Cole
Rife. I was going to get to that.
Okay, well,
there you go. Hey, I'm on a roll. No, your mic's off, too, so okay. Cole Rife's in the national tournament. That's where we'll start with sounds the past 24 hours or so. Cole talking about Northwest Florida State. They look impressive, even getting off the bus. And when we talked, I said, well, maybe we're just used to seeing Barton get off the bus, and we're used to seeing them, so they don't look as impressive because they're not as new. But Barton leading by as many as 12 in the first half and maintaining that lead. There's about 8 minutes to go last time I checked. Where are we at right now?
Last update I have, Barton leads 29-19 with 7:53 to go in the first half.
All
Cougars
right.
on an 18-3 run.
Oh, man, yeah. How about that? Barton. Woo! They are... And Northwest Florida State, they came in 29-5. They had 3 losses, and those 3 losses were to Chipola, Florida, who got beat by Hutch last night in an upset, 78-71. So Hutchinson plays tonight against Connors State, a 67-61 winner over Salt Lake, and Odessa beating Vincennes last night, 58-56, and Indian Hills over Wallace State, 63-58. So Triton and South Plains coming up the next game. And if Barton hangs on, that would be the team they would play at either Triton or South Plains coming up in the semifinals tomorrow at 6. So, well, here we go. We'll check in here. I'll get a live listen into that coming up here in just a moment. Great Bend Batcats General Manager Roger Ward on the show yesterday talking about the community support. Batcats getting ready for season number 8 in Great Bend. Remember Roger coming up with this idea? He always wanted to do it. Man, hats off to Roger Ward because he always wanted to do it, and he went through. I mean, I'm surprised the guy's still alive because, I mean, so many hours, so much stress he went through, and now it's one of the premier summer collegiate baseball team and franchises in the state getting ready for season number 8 thanks to the great community support. And we'll be getting season 8 of Batcat baseball coming up here right at the start of June.
It's impressive. It's only 8 years old when you think of some of the memories, some of the experiences they've had at the NBC World Series. Already done some great things there for Roger Ward, and excited to see what the boys do this year.
Playing in the Sunflower League, a team that Hutch Monarchs won the NBC World Series last year, so certainly it's legit right now, and Batcat's one of the best in the business. Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel on the show last week talking about St. John Senior Heidi Fisher, who he voted as a 1A D1 Girls Player of the Year. She didn't get it, but boy, what a... And you think next year with St. John, you say, well, they'll only lose one player. Man, if that player is Heidi Fisher, the leadership and thing that... So they've got a hole to fill, even though they've got 4 starters coming back next year, but Heidi Fisher, a great high school basketball player.
The Bulls only lost Michael Jordan, and look what happened to them.
Yeah, that but they didn't have. Yeah, I'm trying to compare it here.
We got to figure out who the Scottie Pippen is on
or Wimbiana or somebody like
exactly.
that.
Who's up next?
Okay, Matt Sauer, Kansas City Royals, talking about making the Major League roster, and he was picked up in the Rule 5 draft. So that means unless you really stink, you're probably going to get a roster spot because if they can't send you down unless you're on the 60-day DL. So he's probably going to stick with the team, but, these guys, they go through everything just, that's their dream. And you think, boy, that guy's a great baseball player. He's going to, and those guys never make it to the major leagues. You have to be really, really good. And it's always cool to hear guys talking about the experience of having an opportunity. He was the New York Yankees' 25th best prospect, and the Yankees left him and several other pitchers unprotected in the Rule 5 draft. And the Royals jumping on it. So hopefully it works out for the Royals. They open tomorrow against the Minnesota Twins. You heard from Chris Paddock, a former Iuka Hustler who just really hasn't panned out. He's got another chance with the Minnesota Twins, saying they're going to be tough this year. Well, they're defending champions, but in the American League Central, that hasn't meant much. Last year they won it with an 87-75 record, but... If the Royals can play 500 baseball, they're still going to be in the hunt, right? The division runner-up hasn't finished over 500 since the COVID-shortened season of 2020.
It's not been the most inspiring baseball played in the AL Central lately.
Hey, what
but
an opportunity, man.
That's the thing, and you got to hope with some of the young talent the Royals have, Bobby Witt, Mikhail Garcia, Pasquantino there, could be some young guys who can make a mark. Maybe we get the Royals a division crown this year. It'll be... I was talking with Hesher this morning. Easier to make the postseason that way than by winning a wild card.
Look at the excited look on his face. I wish you had a camera on him right now.
All I have to say, we'll do our predictions tomorrow is what I've been told, but look how bad this organization has messed up the stadium issue. I have no confidence in this organization whatsoever right now.
Well, the Chiefs haven't added to that either.
Well, that's
what are the Chiefs
I agree.
Doing? What are the Chiefs going to do with their money? But it's not my money. They want to put a stadium downtown. I don't live in Jackson County, but I don't know if I want to go downtown.
That's the big thing. Is a lot of people don't want to go downtown right now after the Super Bowl party thing.
Well,
Go ahead.
you see how Jackson County has to debate using their money. Barton County, they just get nice little lights put up in the Vets Trail. They put up some nice walking lights for the evening. It's great use of your tax money rather than having to debate where to put a sports stadium.
Yep, sales tax. Everybody's involved in it. That is our, what is it?
It's like the community.
Yeah, it's a quality of life.
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
what it is.
So,
yeah.
and we've seen a lot of low-hanging fruit. But anyway, we'll get to our Royals picks tomorrow. I heard a MLB network saying every team in the American League Central is worse this year except the Royals. Which, how can you be worse than 56?
56 wins doesn't leave a lot of room.
Okay. I mean, hey, opening day tomorrow, we'll have the game for you here on KVGB at 12:30, and then we'll take you to Arlington, Texas for Game 2 of opening day. The Texas Rangers hosting the Chicago Cubs tomorrow. So opening day here on KVGB.
I think it's 2:30, not 12:30. Did I
say 12:30?
You did say 12:30.
Okay, thank you. That's fine. That's why I leave your mic on.
I also saw a fun stat that Rangers-Cubs game, most expensive ticket on a per basis for opening day at the MLB, coming in at close to $240 for a ticket for Cubs to Rangers, compared by the Marlins and Pirates, $13 for a seat for Marlins taking on Pittsburgh.
Well, I think the Cubs push that too. I mean, the Cubs, they it's dandelion time. Fans are like dandelions every year, man. You see them in the yard, and then it gets hot and they go away. We'll see if that's the case, but the Cub fans ready to go. Greg McDermott, Creighton head coach, he has his team in the Sweet 16, talking about doesn't like the timing of the transfer portal. Now officially open. The portal will remain open for 45 days before closing on Wednesday, May 1st. And last year's transfer portal was open. More than 1,800 players put their names into the portal. I like what he says. Don't start the portal until after the season's over with.
And
you may have a guy on your team that says he was going to transfer. And while you're still in the tournament.
From a general standpoint, I'm a big fan of the transfer portal. I think it does give guys some movement, and it gives them a little bit more power and where they want to play. I do think it could start a little bit later because it does kind of distract from what the most fun time of year in college basketball, the really getting into the teeth of the March Madness tournament, and it does just kind of distract away from some of that attention, but wouldn't mind seeing that maybe open a day or two after the national championship.
Transfer portals, NIL. That was supposed to be name, image, and likeness, wasn't it? Now it's just pay.
Nah,
they need to change NIL.
It's impressive what their name, image, and likeness is getting used for.
What everybody's is. I mean, the NCAA Sweet 16 tomorrow, the East region, UConn plays San Diego State, Iowa State against Illinois, and then the West regional on Thursday night, North Carolina against Alabama and Arizona against Clemson. Then it's the South and Midwest on Friday. In the South regional in Dallas, it'll be Houston against Duke, Marquette against North Carolina State. In the Midwest, Purdue against Gonzaga, and Tennessee against Creighton. ESPN rule specialist Dean Blandino, confident that the league will be able to adjust to the new rules on kickoffs, aimed to limit high-speed collisions on the field. I like that. So the ESPN rule specialist, see, they don't have an ESPN college basketball rule specialist because there are no rules right now. It's a wild west out there. And the call on 98.7 ESPN, New York, Adam Fox wins it in overtime for the Rangers. They beat the Flyers by the score of 6-5. The life of an NHL play-by-play guy, man. You get game winners all the time. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. Let's go check in at the Hutch Sports Arena with Cole Reif. Barton against Northwest Florida State.
Here's Downing Rivers back in the game. Kendall will get a breather. Winner moves on to the Final Four to play tomorrow night at 5 o'clock against either Odessa or Indian Hills. Sumler to key it in. Stacked line formation on the baseline. They break. Near 5 count. Throws it out near the midcourt stripe. Underneath it is going to be Rasheed Jones. The transfer from Western Carolina. One of 3 Division I transfers on this Northwest Florida team. Jones has the right side. Back opposite direction. Scheider in the short corner, puts on the floor, jump pass wide open. Rasheed Jones lets it fly, buries it. Hey, you can't leave him that wide open. 73 threes on the season for Rasheed Jones. And Northwest Florida State is pulled within 10. 1:05 to go. See if Barton can get a little more breathing room. Miles starts down the right elbow. 15 feet away, spins back the middle, stuck, puts up the hook shot, heels off. Rebound cleared by Scheider rather, by Northwest Florida. Now the Raiders looking for back-to-back buckets. Jones keeps it in his hands, bright yellow shoes, bounce past the Banks. 15 feet away, throws it behind him. And it resets for Rasheed Jones. Ticker reads 10, step back, Jones feeling it, got another one. Oh, Rasheed Jones, sometimes streaky. He's had 9 3-pointers in his last 3 games coming in this matchup with the Cougars. And Northwest Florida State pull it within 7, 42-35, final 20 seconds. Maybe a half-second difference between shot and game clock. Downing Rivers. Hold static in front of the Sam Butterfield Court logo. Here in Hutchinson. Spin, 7 seconds, stops, 15 feet away. Out to Bowen Webb, sidesteps, 3 on the way. Comes off the rim, fight for the rebound. Jones puts it up and left it short. Would have counted on the putback for Jones, but he comes up empty. Well, Northwest Florida State, back-to-back threes by Rasheed Jones, feeling a little bit better about things. Barton led by as many as 15 in the first half. Their lead is at 7. Halftime has arrived at the Sports Arena. The Next Tech halftime show coming your way next. Barton leading in the Elite 8 against Northwest Florida, 42-35.
There you go, 42-35. They are at halftime. A couple of three-pointers by Northwest Florida State. Man, Barton with a 15-point lead. See if the Fighting Combs can bring it home today. And so Barton will play the winner of Odessa and Indian Hills, not Triton and South Plains. But that game would be tomorrow at 6 o'clock. See if the Cougars can hang on.
I did just realize that we didn't have too many close Barton games to talk about this year, but they do get a close one. The Cardiac Combs?
I don't know. I think that
the Cardiac Cats still better on that one.
But they haven't been cardiac.
That's what I was saying. We haven't had many opportunities to bust that one out for them, but hopefully they can keep it up over West Florida State here.
All right, let's hope they can do it. Okay, we're going to talk with Gerard Walbrock coming up next, and then we'll have some Great Bend Lady Panther softball talk, as we'll have a full studio here today on the radio. Our show brought to you in part by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. And by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend, and Eller Automotive Repair. Local mechanic that can help behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source. You know, you don't want to go into one of those. Ever go in there and your car's broken, and they want to know, well, what's wrong with it? And so, well, it's big. And I don't need some, well, it sounds like your double digrubulator, your tubulator that goes up into the dash monitor. They make you feel dumb, man. I mean, you need your local guy, man. He's okay. I got you. Eller Automotive Repair. All right, Sports Day rolling on after this.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Introducing Ag Mechanics at Barton Community College in partnership with Case New Holland Top Tech. Hands-on training in areas like electrical, hydraulics, and diesel engines, with technicians gaining the knowledge and skills needed to start a career with CNH Level 1 training. Join this high-demand field at a CNH dealership in only 9 months. Now enrolling for the fall semester. Learn more at toptech.bartoncccc.edu.
He's been the voice of the Tigers for over 20 years, much longer than Wyatt Thompson, Steve Webster, and the legendary Bob Davis. And he's not even that old yet. Here's Gerard Wellbrock.
Gerard Wellbrock with us here. Back on the show today. Gerard, it's one of those games you kind of wonder, okay, I know you got Tiger fans, but there's a lot of Barton Cougar fans. Barton men leading Northwest Florida State 42-35, the national tournament in Hutchinson in the Elite Eight today. So, but we assume there are other people listening right now, okay?
I understand. I certainly get that.
You're getting
they
ready
should be listening to the Cougars.
Yeah.
Right.
How about that? Yeah. Number one heading into the tournament.
That's been a great run.
Yeah, big boy game going on. You've got some baseball going on. You don't take a break at all, do you? You jump right into it.
Well, the way the schedule kind of works, just kind of roll right into the next, which sometimes is a good thing. But, Tigers at Newman this afternoon. It's game 2 of their 3-game midweek series.
Oh, okay.
And might have play.
So
they play every school plays one conference opponent midweek, and they spread it out. It's usually they played in Wichita 2 weeks ago, and then they'll play in Wichita again in 2 weeks. So every team gets another one that they'll play midweek, gives them another weekend free for a non-conference at the beginning of the year.
You doing both today?
It's only single.
Okay,
MIAA has pretty much gone to single games, which unless weather, you have to reschedule, which I think everybody likes. Oh, love it, yeah. So just one today.
Yeah, because
it was supposed to be yesterday, but it kind of was not very nice out.
All right, Gerard Wellbrock with us, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Let's wrap up the basketball season, which we were going to do last week. But everything had been pretty hectic around here with national tournaments and things like that going on. But for the Barton, but I've got to go. Jeez,
that's all right.
I think that is the 8th time I've misspoke on the show today. So this is
good. I've been there.
Well, good thing I have Hesh here to let me know when I do that. But
points it out, yeah.
Okay, the Tiger basketball teams, the men and women, their seasons come to an end, but both made the national tournament. Let's start with the Fort Hays State Tiger men, who got in the regional tournament and ended up losing. So, kind of talk about the tournament and sum up their season.
Great year. I mean, it was a crushing loss. Got beat on a last-second shot. They really, the game was kind of their season. They fell behind by 14 to a team that made the Elite Eight a year ago, and pretty much had their whole team back and battled back and had the lead, and unfortunately missed a free throw, that front end of a 1-and-1 from a guy who probably was a player of the game. They're not in that situation, but he misses a free throw and just, bad luck, and Duluth comes down, and kid breaks free. One of the Tigers slips, gave him a pass to the lane, and he hits a layup at the horn. And, officiating's officiating. It was a terrible call on Biadne Jansson for his 5th foul. He would have been on the floor. I think that makes a big difference, because the team that was out there at that point just defensively wasn't probably as solid, and he's such a good defender, but that's the way it goes. But it was unfortunate way to end on a last-second shot. They played so well, hit a few shots, didn't shoot the 3 great, but were certainly right there. And had they won that, they get Northwest Missouri State, who, it had been a tough game, but certainly like to take your chances. Minnesota State goes on to win it. They won their quarterfinal game yesterday. They're in the Division II national semis tomorrow night in Evansville. They're going to be a team that's probably going to have a great chance to win the whole thing. In fact, the men and women from Minnesota State both in the national semis. So it's been a good year for the Mavericks up north.
Has Fort Hays played Duluth before?
They had not. That was the very first thing. I figured it was somewhere along the line. And they hadn't played as many Northern Sun schools as I thought. They've been up north quite a few times, but they haven't always played a Northern Sun school. But, that was the first ever meeting between the two programs. Duluth, surprisingly, they hadn't won an NCAA tournament game until last year. And they ended up winning the regional and getting to the Elite Eight. They'd made it a few times, but never been able to win. So, and they had a couple of, COVID seniors. They had the second leading scorer, active scorer in all of Division II basketball with over 2,800 points. When Fort Hays State did a great job defensively against them. They were big in the guard position. Their posts were probably undersized, but I mean they were 6'4", 6'5", 6'5", 6'6". I mean it was a tough matchup, but Fort Hays State found a way to slow them down. They were averaging well over 80 a game, and they scored 59 in the win. So Fort Hays State did what they had to do to be in the game. Just unfortunate it didn't quite work out for them.
I always wanted to have a tournament at Duluth. I want to see the iron ore ships, in there.
Well, we were in Mankato, but I know the women hosted last year.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it was warmer than normal because Pitt State I talked to Eddie Lomshak, the Pitt State radio guy, and he said it wasn't as Duluthy as he thought it would be because it was warmer than normal. They were telling him it's usually a lot colder and it's not as enjoyable, but it would end up being pretty nice weather for them last year. But, yeah, that would be something pretty neat. But I heard the winters are pretty brutal up there.
Yeah, it's this climate change. There's polar bears floating on ice out there instead of, they've come all the way down. Okay, for the Lady Tigers, their season also ends at the regional.
It did. They had they had a nice win over Northwest. It's always tough. I'm not going to get on my soapbox here, but I mean, Fort Hays State beat Northwest in a hard-fought game in the MIAA semis. And who do you draw in the first round of the NCAA? Northwest Missouri State. And yeah, that's always tough. But they took care of business, won the game, played well, and then ran into a buzzsaw in the semis. And I don't know what the regional committee was thinking. Minnesota State was seeded 7th in the region. Now, Fort Hays State beat them earlier this year. They lost 4 out of their first 5, I think. Their best player and their second best player were both hurt. Since those two came back, they were 26-2. And I know they take your whole body of work, but they were the most underseeded team I think I've ever seen. And they took Missouri Western won the MIAA, and that game was over in the first quarter. Minnesota State, they create havoc. It's almost like Arkansas used to be 40 minutes of hell. It's a lot. I mean, they press, and they make a lot of mistakes, but their mantra is almost, we're just going to make less. We're going to speed you up, take you out of your game, and it works. And if Fort Hays State would have played them in the first round, I think they would have had a better chance just because the extra preparation time for that game. Because you have to get the right mind frame. And Fort Hays State has played them. I mean, they played them in the last couple of regionals. They got beat at home by them last year. Last second shot, they came down to Hayes. So this is a veteran team, and they battle. They didn't shoot it well enough. You have to shoot it well, and they had 35 turnovers. I mean, it's the most turnovers since like 2009, and it just you try, but you just get sped up, and you can't do anything about it. And I said Minnesota State's rolling. They rolled, and they won by 29 in the regional final. They won their quarterfinal game. They play tonight in St. Joe. I would not be shocked if they're cutting down the nets. They're tough, and it's a group that's been together for quite a while. And they just had some injuries early that probably hurt their seeding. They probably 1 or 2 less losses. The men and women both would have hosted the regional. They're that good.
Yeah, I guess they do it in all levels, right? It was KU was. Were they a 4 seed?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Jay Billis would be going crazy. I could see you and Jay Billis on the Division II selection show.
Yeah. No, I do think like the men's regional. I thought they did. I thought it was seeded well. Fort Hays State slipped to a 6, and I had no problem with that because I figured they're a 5 or a 6. Pitt State got in, and I think the way the games turned out, it's like that was seeded pretty well. I think that was pretty accurate. Northwest was 2. I thought they seeded it well, and I think the games kind of proved that way. But even the women I thought was pretty good, except for Minnesota State. But I don't know if Fort Hays State beats them. Maybe if they'd have met in the finals, you have a day of rest between the semis and the finals. That may have helped. I don't know. I think they're just that good. That'd have been a tough one either way for Fort Hays State.
Okay, the babyface gorilla. Okay, I never thought I'd ever say this because he's all time, and he still looks like he's 12 years old. I'm talking about Fort Hays State men's basketball coach Mark Johnson.
I was wondering where you were going with this. Okay, all right.
Okay, so babyface Pittsburgh State boy, you know.
Yeah.
How much longer is he going to coach?
You know, it's funny. I've been asked that a lot this week, or last 2 weeks. I said, I don't know. I don't think he's done yet. I think he has a lot more he wants to accomplish. I know this was a crushing loss. He loved this team, and I get why. I mean, this team was Mark Johnson. I mean, we talked about it all year. I thought last year was about as good of a defensive team I've ever seen. Didn't think there's any way they could match it. They were way better this year. They were so much better. And it's just hard to explain. And like Marcus said, we try to do this every year, but you don't get the group of kids who buy in, and not even buy in, but get it and can do it. Just their ability they knew what the other one was doing. It was so fun to watch. And I know they caught some criticism because they didn't score a lot of points. And you know what? It's not always a lot of fun to watch. I personally love pitchers' duels. So I love watching Fort Hays State just lock down a team, and you can just see the wheels come off, and the other team just get frustrated, and it's over. And that was, to me, I loved watching this team play. So it was a tough loss, I know, for Coach. And you love every team, but there's just some. I mean, they're easy to coach. You didn't have to do hardly anything. You never had to worry about them being ready to play, playing hard, doing the right thing. They didn't always win, didn't always play well, but it wasn't because of lack of effort and trying to do the right thing. And I think that was what made it so much fun. But I think he's got more he wants to accomplish. I mean, I think he'd like to make an NCAA run if he can. And I always said that when he's done it, he just walks away and he doesn't coach anymore. Tony Hobson surprised us last year, so who knows? But I don't think Mark's there yet. He's a little bit younger than Tony was, but that's a good question. I've not asked him yet. I don't think he knows that answer. Maybe he does. He probably wouldn't tell me, but hopefully it's not for a while yet.
How old is he?
He's younger than me. I think he turned.
Oh, gosh. What?
55, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
We always, because his birthday was the Tuesday or the Wednesday before the game. So it's after the MIAA, so it's always nice to be playing on his birthday or around his birthday. That usually means you made the national tournament.
Oh, well, gosh. What's he? I mean, where's he at on wins right now on the national list?
You know, I'll have to go back and check that he's 4. But, I mean, there's some heavy hitters up there. He's obviously Fort Hays State's all-time winningest by a long shot. But that's a good question. There might be some summer research to go look and see exactly where he is and ranks with all of them. There's some have been there a while and won a lot of games. But he's just – his teams just, they play hard. And like you said, you know, sometimes some are better than others. Every coach has that. But this team was just the epitome of Mark's style of play. We're going to get in your face. We're going to defend the heck out of you. We're going to play harder than you. And then we hope to score one more point than you because sometimes the offense isn't always there. For a guy who liked to shoot it, that's kind of surprising.
So what's he got coming back next year?
You got a good core. They lose 3 good players. They lose the one that is Elijah Nanabu is the one that's kind of frustrating because he only got 3 years. There's something he went to a prep school. He lost a year of eligibility. Thought he had another one, but doesn't. He was really good. He came on so strong this year, a kid who didn't start playing until high school. So he was really behind the 8 ball, so to speak, in that regard, but had a great year. They lose Elijah Nanabu, Elijah Nanabu. They lose Jaheim Holden, the Barton transfer, went to Tarleton. He had a really good senior year. Feel bad for him. He broke his foot midway last year and missed a lot, and that really hurt Fort Hays State down the stretch. But Bjarne Jansson, I mean, you look at his stats. He's the kid from Iceland. Certainly replaceable in all of the things, the tangent numbers that he puts up, but all the little things that he does so well. And just one of those reason they were so good defensively was his ability to help, recover, his length, could guard the perimeter at 6'7". That's going to be hard to replace. So they got a lot of numbers back, and they got a lot of really good players back, but they're going to have some really important positions to replace. And if they can do that, I think they've got a chance to be pretty good again next year. Hopefully so. I mean, and Kyle Grill, a freshman, started to see more minutes. One of their guards they brought in, a transfer from SBU last year, really battled some back issues. Hopefully we can get those taken care of in the offseason. He will be a big factor for them next year. So they should be pretty good again if they can just fill a few holes. I think they've got a chance to be kind of where they were this year, hopefully.
Jordan Welbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, with us here on Sports Day. Before you go today, you can be in our pool. And so, and everyone else, Jeremy Combs comes in, he folds a paper over. Jim Mizunas, you're going to have to give us yours over the air. Royals record in 2024.
Oh, man. I am excited for the season. I haven't really thought record. I probably should have done this before opening day. I think they will be better.
Well, they won 56 last year.
I was going to say, so I could go 62 and they were better. I think, golly, I think pitching will be better. I don't know how much better. So I'll go, golly, do I want to go? I'll go 77 wins. I'll go 77.
77 and 85.
I'm obviously hoping for more, but I think that would still be a fun year. And I could see them being in the hunt for a while, and then,
stay around 500.
How those go. You get to September, and maybe you lose a little bit more. But if they win 77, I think it'll be a fun summer. I'm obviously hoping for a lot more.
All right. Jordan, thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, Steve, thanks. Good to be back.
Well, Ash, you had you on supervised probation. You're the best, Gerard. Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay, Gerard Welbrock with us, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers with us. Gerard, go ahead. I've got some readers here to do. I'll talk to you next week. Barton, Fort Hays. Hesh, save me, man. I'm just trying here. Sports Day brought to you by the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country, and in part by Equity Bank. No ATM fees nationwide. Learn more at equitybank.com. We will take a break, come back, give you an update from Hutchinson, and then we'll talk some Great Bend Lady Panther softball here on Sports Day.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Also in part by Next Tech Wireless, built by Kansans for Kansas, and the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, your certified Cenex lubricant dealer in Great Bend. Welcome back to Sports Day here. Your starting lineups tomorrow projected for the Kansas City Royals. Leading off and playing third base, Michael Garcia. Batting second and playing shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr. Playing first base and batting third, Vinny Pasquantino. Catching and batting fourth, Salvador Perez. Batting fifth and playing left field, MJ Melendez. Playing right field and batting sixth, Hunter Renfroe. Batting seventh and playing second base, Adam Frazier. The designated hitter is Nelson Velasquez. And playing center field and batting ninth for the Royals tomorrow against the Minnesota Twins, center fielder Kyle Isbell. So for the Royals, Garcia, Witt Jr., Pasquantino, Perez, Melendez, Renfroe, Frazier, Velasquez, Isbell, and Cole Reagans. The left-hander will be on the mound. Reagans last year, 7-5 with an ERA of 3.47 in 2023. Let's go to the sports arena. Cole Reif on B104.3 The Point.
Get through either as an at-large or win the Region 6 tournament. But this year was a first for a lot of things. They picked up their first Region 6 championship since 2001. They won the conference title for the first time since 2009. They had their best road record, going 13-0 in away games this year. That's their best road record in school history. And that 24-game winning streak for the Cougars, their best since 1977. It ties the third longest win streak in program history, and a win today would tie the second longest win streak of 25 games set back in 1999, and the school record is 28 straight games. So Barton, even if they won a championship this year, they wouldn't be able to touch that streak, and they have to continue it on into next year, but that would be a different record. But yeah, that 1989 team won 28 straight games. When we look at Barton and their history in the national tournament, they've been to the Sweet 16 in every appearance. Now, I mentioned in the past there was only 16 teams that made it, but they've been to the Elite 8 now 4 times in program history. Trying to get to the Final Four for the 3rd time in program history, the first since 1999. And Barton leading by 10, 51-41, 16-11 to go first half.
So there you go, an update from Hutchinson. Cole Reif with the call on B104.3 The Point. Okay, we'll be talking the Great Bend Lady Panther softball. There's too many teams going on here. Carrie Minton will be in. Deshauna Bryant, Cameron Kelch, and Kaya Bear will be joining us here in the studio momentarily. Kentucky Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart confirming on social media John Calipari will return as men's basketball coach despite calls for his firing following the Wildcats' 3rd consecutive early exit from the NCAA tournament. And the NAI National Championship determined last night in Kansas City. Good old Freed Hardman closed on a 10-0 run. They beat Langston 71-67. That was the program's first NAI championship. Okay, Great Bend Lady Panthers softball coming up next on Sports Day.
Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Reif, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Smart stays on the road. That's why it's in your engine. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils maintain 80% of their viscosity throughout the drain interval for superior engine performance across extreme temperatures. That horizon looks good with the competition behind you. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Are you unhappy with your current wireless provider? Well, what are you waiting for? Make the switch to Nextech Wireless. Not only will you get great service and the latest devices, but when you bring your number to us, you pay nothing down. That's right. The taxes and activation fee are on us.
Certain restrictions apply.
Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by the Lady Panthers softball team. Got Kaya Bear, Cameron Kelch, Deshauna Bryant, and Coach Carrie Minton. Guys coming off some pretty big wins. How are we feeling today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So Kaya Bear, last time we had you in here, it was a cry fest. You can't
I'm
promise
not going to
me?
get emotional this time.
How did the speech go at Fort Hays when you were inducting your dad?
We all ended up crying. It was pretty emotional deal, but it was a lot of fun. We had fun that day. We took a party bus up there, and yeah, it was a fun celebration.
So let's talk about, let's see, you guys hosted Pratt. It's been nice off and on. Of course, Saturday morning was, really cold and windy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just, Cameron, how was opening the season in weather like that?
It was cold, not something that I would expect for softball weather, but
Wasn't ideal by any measure.
No.
What was the I mean, you knew it was probably going to be cold. Just what does that do with tightness? I know when I'm cold, I can't move. So as an athlete, what was that like, Deshauna?
Just to keep warm, I had my jacket. I had my undersleeve on. I had hand warmers.
It was a football game.
It was.
I just had to make sure I was warm and still moving, just to make sure
And so, Coach, you can kind of help me out here with the play, but it was low-scoring game, or the first one was a high score?
The first one was tight. We were down 3-1 going into the 6th, I believe. Yep, 3-1 going into the 6th.
And I know it was just the one.
This is the one that you wanted.
This is the one.
This is the one.
So you guys tied up going into the bottom of the 7th. Get some runners on. Kaya comes up to the plate. Freshman in a big game. What's going through your head?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I knew we had speed on the bases, and I just knew a poke to the right side just to get those runs in. So I think Mitten was like, do you want to do a squeeze bunt here? And I was like, no, I'm going to hit. So then I was like, I really have to hit since I
did say safety squeeze. We need to clarify. Do you want a safety squeeze, or would you like to go ahead and try and put the ball in play? She said, I'm going to put the ball in play.
Was there anything you were seeing in particular that you wanted to swing away, or you're just a confident hitter?
No, I feel like I was pretty confident at the plate. So.
And why'd they give her 2 RBIs if it was a walk-off? I about gave her just 1.
Well, so I believe, and I'm going to go back because it was one of the rule changes that they had in that they finished the play, and then you go ahead and once the play has concluded, that's what the final score is. Because there was some discussion about like hitting a home run. If somebody hits a home run and it's a walk-off, the score usually just ends at 1 above. But they said, I think it was for run differential for standings. So that's why it was marked 5-3.
So Pratt had to actually get the ball and play it in?
Had to play it in. Well, once we stopped and officials called time, then the play was dead. So, yeah.
So, Cameron, you're behind the plate this year. A few more pitchers maybe in the rosters than normal softballs. You usually got 1 or 2 girls. How kind of fun for you to see some different looks back there this year?
There's a lot of learning that has to go into it, like knowing each pitcher and what's comfortable for them to pitch, and telling Coach Haney what's not working and what's working.
And as I say, I don't know if your guys' calls, does Coach Haney send those in, or are you actually making some calls out there?
The second inning of the first game, I started making my own calls, and then bases got loaded, so I sent it back to Haney. I was like, I'm not doing this.
And that's something, being young as a sophomore, and like you mentioned, we have a large pitching staff this year. So, giving Cameron some opportunities to call pitches, and she's got the best perspective behind the plate. She can see where batters are at, what's working for our pitchers. So it's going to be a work in progress, but that's something that we're going to continue to do.
So Deshauna, I seem to remember you last year. You and Mazook, Catherine, is it Catherine Mazook? There's too many Mazooks. We got swimmers, we got everything. Big time power hitters last year. Kind of, what does a power hitter do in the off season, or what are your goals this year at the plate?
My goal this year at the plate is to get base hits, move runners, and just get base hits.
Be patient. That's one of her
patient.
goals. She's going to be patient.
Hit balls.
Well, and what some good scoring in game 1 of the season. A lot of young kids in there, and Coach, you can hop in on this one, but Kaya too.
Mm-hmm.
Some senior leadership out there for sure. We had them in
100%.
last week, but also a big young group coming up. So just how are you setting the stage for, hey, this is Great Bend softball for a while now?
Yeah, there's that billboard out on 24th and Main, I believe, and there's not a state championship up there yet, but there will be. So I'm pretty confident in this group. So.
I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Setting the bar high.
Yep.
And Coach, just for you, because I hadn't expected maybe to see those freshman names in there so quick. So how nice for you to have, I know you had said you were going to play a lot of kids, but got to them pretty quick.
Yeah, we did. And it's fun. That's what's been great. We have a lot of competition day in, day out in practice. Kids are pushing each other, and that's really what we want to see. So, the young ladies that stepped in on Saturday and contributed all did a fantastic job. Camden out in right field made a big play, threw a runner out at home. Chayla pitched. complete second game. So, they did a lot of great things, and a lot of that came from the point, from the perspective that our upperclassmen have given them that opportunity. They allow them to feel comfortable. They're excited about having them on the field with them, and they just want to win.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking to Lady Panther softball coach Carrie Minton. We've got Deshauna Bryant in here, Cameron Kelsch, and Kaya Bear. So you guys were supposed to play Tuesday, Mac in Manhattan, and that's now tomorrow.
Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We're headed to Hutch tomorrow for a doubleheader that was on regular schedule.
So Cameron is supposed to be a lot nicer tomorrow. You guys have got 2 wins under your belt, and Pratt's usually pretty solid. I'm going to guess those are quality wins when we see what Pratt's done later. Expectations going into Hutch tomorrow?
I feel like we just need to bring the energy and play together tomorrow to have a confident.
And Kaya, same for you, just on the whole season now, you've seen what you guys are capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Feel good going forward the rest of the season?
Oh, 100%. I feel like the energy, the leadership, every day in practice we're super competitive with each other. Live hitting gets pretty competitive too, so I just feel like all of that energy brought together is going to make for a great outcome.
And Deshauna, I don't want you to rest on those 2 wins and say, hey, we're done for the year. What do you guys have to do to keep the intensity up and keep getting better each week?
We will, we'll keep live hitting to see what it'll be like in a game, or we'll
just keep practicing,
Yeah,
man.
we'll just keep working hard day in, day out. They're not satisfied with those 2 by no means. Going into Hutch tomorrow, we split last year with Hutch, and we really felt like we let one of those get away. So going into tomorrow, we're really looking to get another sweep and start out the season 4-0, hopefully.
We'll just go around the room real quick here because everybody likes to bat, but it's got to be fun playing catcher. You're kind of like Ken Griffey out there playing, got the run of the outfield. What do you guys like better, batting or defense?
Oh.
I like that they have to think about it, though.
They're really not thinking about it.
I like hitting better, I think I would have to say.
Cameron?
I'm a defense. I like defense.
Catching's got to be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think defense.
And so the kicker for Deshauna is if the pitchers are doing their job, center field is boring.
There you go.
It can be.
Lady Panther softball team 2-0 on the season, headed to Hutchinson tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you.
More sports day after this.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignment.
With the Better Business Bureau, you don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB, brought to you in part by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor shop local when you can. How about those Cougars? 12:55 to go. Barton leading 59-42 over Northwest Florida State. And, yeah, they're good. They look good getting off the bus. So does Barton.
And Barton's been able to hold off a little bit of a rally from Northwest Florida State as to close out that first half. I think the Raiders were on an 8-0 run and then started pretty hot here in the second half. But Cougars just a deep team, and that's prevailing here at the national tournament.
Wow. That game will be followed by Triton and South Plains. South Plains, the number 2 seed. And then the Barton hangs on. They'll play the winner of Odessa and Indian Hills. They play at 6 o'clock tonight. And then, Mike Corson, you brought this up because I didn't think Hutch would win last night. But I think we're seeing the strength of the Jayhawk Conference. I mean, Texas and Florida are always that's where the national champions come from. Well, okay. Right now, Hutch, you brought it up. What about a Hutch-Barton national championship game?
A fourth meeting
in
the
Hutch?
season, and you've got the sweep we've talked about all year, last 2 years.
How to beat a team 3? How about it's time to beat a team 4 times?
And then
and 3 times on their home floor.
And it would be loaded this time. Yeah, you smoked them on their floor, but not at the national tournament where it's like all the Hutch faithful would be out. Then you could beat them on their home floor. So we'll hope for that. Kind of hoping Cali would win just to have more Kansas representation. Then you get that little bit of fear factor. Uh-oh, these guys beat Cali beat Barton. What have they got head-to-head that's going to be a factor? Well, hopefully nothing. When I was just driving over, it was 7 at the half, and it was, I think, 12 when I walked in, so they're continuing to pull away.
Wow. It's unbelievable.
You mentioned
we may have a studio full of Cougars next week when we hang their Barton jersey in the studio.
I'm just waiting to see what offers some of these Cougars pick up after this game, after their first game.
I want them to. They didn't pick up offers. I did now. They're Barton Cougars. I don't care if where they're going next year.
I just think it's funny the jump in attention the national tournament does bring, because we've been watching these guys ball out at this level all season long. Now that they're doing it at the highest level, people are actually realizing, man, there's some talent there in Kansas. We maybe should have been looking there a little longer.
And I missed what you said earlier, but Cole Reif on the radio said, with yesterday's win, the best start in Cougar history.
Yeah. 60-46 right now. Sometimes common sense prevails. A women's roller derby league in suburban New York has thrust itself in a national discussion over the rights of transgender athletes. The Long Island Roller Rebels suing the Nassau County executive Bruce Blakeman over an order meant to prevent women's and girls' leagues and teams with transgender athletes from using county-run parks and fields.
That's a physical sport.
I guess. Need those big blockers. Jeremy Combs on the show tomorrow. Live from Hutch. They'll win.